Artemisia, and we're here for the basic spear class. I'm going to be showing you what the spear is and how to use it. We'll start with the most basic of basics and make our way up from there to spear boxing, what to do against other weapon styles, and what to do and where you want to be in a melee. Today assisting me, as he already said, we have Sir Giovanni. We have Lordship Magnus and Lord Thorhall. My two squires, not even two of just my two squires. So yeah, thankfully we are up here in Montana, where self-isolating is what we do. It's why we live here. So we are still pretty safe up here. So this is how we're going to run things today. Okay. Yeah, you just can hop back off on the side, and I'll pull you guys back here in a few. This is a SCA spear. This is what we're here learning about today. There's only one way to hit with this. That is stabbing. That's why it's a stabbing motion. That's what we do. This is not a hacking and slashing. There's no big, wild, I'm going to blast you off your feet movements with this weapon. This is a precise tool. This is a sniper tool. The first thing I'm going to tell you is it's 9 feet long. Use it as 9 feet long. You want your backhand to be at the end of the weapon. If you choke it up and you use it shorter, then you go get a different weapon, because this doesn't do you any good. You always want your rear hand at the back. It doesn't matter which hand is back, whether it's left or right. That all comes down to preference. The only time it really matters is when we get into the melee part. We will be discussing that here in probably about a half hour. I fight what is called proper, which is left hand back. Right hand back is considered goofy, like snowboarding. What you want to do with your stance is stand up straight, be comfortable, take wherever your front hand is going to be, and take a step with it. Take a slightly larger step with it. You just like all of the aspects of fighting, footwork is very important. You want to be stable. You want to be solid. As you get lined up there, you're stable on your feet. You'll turn your back foot to about, I turn mine to a solid 90 degrees, 80, 90 degrees, and that's where I push off from. That's where all my power is coming from, is the back. I use my front foot to point forward. That's my stance. It's about doing what works best for you. Hand on the back of the spear and point it forward. You don't want to be pointing at the sky. Once again, not a hacking and slashing weapon. Point it forward. This is where you'll shoot from. This is where you live. I do all my guiding with my front hand. So my back hand is just a piston. It's just there to work. It's just there to move. When you shoot, you want to cap off. Like I said, use your distance. Use your range. Stand facing the camera at the spear stands that I talked about. This is the base spear stance. Are we good on distance? Yep. Okay. Base spear stance. He has his hand all the way back. He's leaning forward. It's an aggressive style, and he's ready to shoot off from here. When you're facing this, the places that you want to aim for are the places that you're going to get hit: in the face, in the body, and then the hip. Those are the three primary targets. Now face, because it's the face. It's a great, you don't have to hit them hard, and it's a great target zone. Right here in the body, you make a triangle right here between the wrist, elbow, and shoulder. It's a nice little triangle and gives you a place to pop pop the spear right into the ribs. So now the next triangle is the wrist down to the knee, back up to the elbow. And this one pops when you shoot that one. You're going to be shooting right for their hip. When you hit someone in the hip, it will turn their body because your body follows where your hips go. So when you hit that hip, it's a big obvious blow. When you hit them right in the ribs, right in the side here, it's also generally a pretty telling blow as long as they're not wearing solid steel chest plate. And the face is the face. Everything else that you're trying to shoot for, you have a chance of hitting, but a much better chance of it being glancing. It's very difficult to take an actual leg with the spear because so many people have metal legs and it will just shoot right off of there. Same with arms. It's a difficult shot. So hip, body, face. Those are your three primary targets. Thank you, Magnus. Down your stance. Everybody's a little bit different, but there are three base options. There's the stand-up hero stance that some people get away with, where they don't even turn their shoulders back. They're just like, hi, I am here to kill you. And I don't know how these people function, but they do. I've seen people be very successful with it. The kind of the young guy stance is very wide stance, and you're using every bit of the spear you can grab. You have a nice deep stance, and you're out here to gain control of the fight. The reason why I call it the young guy stance is because it's very taxing on you if you're trying to do this for an hour. I fight more of a moderate middle stance. Well, I get a nice little chunk of bend in my knee. Now keep that lean forward. Just because it gives me more places to go. If you're leaning forward, you can lean back. There's a lot of movement in what this is. When you're fighting spear, it's not usually a matter of feet, it's a matter of inches. Man, this is so weird just doing this to a camera. So you can lean forward, lean back. When you rotate through, you're bringing it all the way from the foot, up the knee, up the hip, to the shoulder, to the arm. And that's where your shot's coming from. If you catch somebody solid, you can take somebody off their feet pretty easy. This is a very dangerous style because a lot of times when you hit somebody, they don't even necessarily know that you're in range or you can hit them. So it has to be very gauged. Because if not, you'll just mess somebody up. Footwork, stance, lean. One of the primary things I picked up through the years is when you're shooting, it's important about where your back wrist is and how that's going. If you try to shoot straight ahead and you leave your wrist on top of it, you're trying to bend your wrist up and also contain power. So when you come up with a straight shot, you want to turn your hand under. So I'm actually rotating the spear as I go. To where at the end, just like a flat snap, my hand ends up flat. And that's for the most precise, straightforward shot that you have. Because you're not trying to crane over your wrist to try to get something in. Three-base shots. Does that cover what a spear is? How to use it? Any questions over there, Gio?
No, but do you want to show that turning your wrist sideways? So that
Yeah, please. Yeah. Is this a good distance?
Yeah.
Okay. So right in here, I'm bringing it up. I'm raising my front hand to control the elevation of the spear. I'm turning my wrist over. So my whole motion is like this. Yeah, it's one of those things that I was doing intuitively. That in teaching one of these classes, night in the class was like, I've never heard that before. I've never even thought of it. That is wonderful. I'm like, oh, I'm happy I could teach you that. I didn't realize I was doing it. I'm like, why wouldn't you do it that way? So that's one of the more valuable things you'll get from this class today. Yeah, you do not want to grab the very end of your spear. You don't want to cup the end. That's called shovel handling. It was apparently legal back in the day, but if you get your hand behind it, essentially you end up pulling. It's a 9-foot punch, and you can really mess somebody up like that. One of the advantages of keeping your hand at the end of the spear but cupped on it is if it goes too far in, your hand will give, and then you won't end up breaking somebody's neck. Okay, if there aren't any questions about that, I'm going to move on to the spear boxing part.
Once again, if you have any questions, just put them in chat or raise your hand and I'll unmute you so you can ask it.
Yeah. Now, this is usually a very interactive class, so I apologize for kind of stumbling my way through here. Okay. Magnus? Is this good here, Gio?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Actually, switch me sides. Then I can project to the camera as opposed to reaching over my shoulder to do it. So this is a base. The base stands for spearmen when they come across each other. The only times, 90% of the time that you fight a spear one-on-one will be in a tournament scenario. You won't be fighting a lot of exclusive one-on-one spear in a melee because there are other people around. And when you're fighting someone with the same weapons length as you, it negates your natural advantage of having the longest weapon on the field. So I don't want to spend all day trying to kill another spearman on a melee field. I'd rather go kill everybody else and then have me and my friends come back and kill the spearman later. Right. So here's the base stance. This is really all about manipulation. I want to manipulate where they shoot and how they shoot. I want to control their weapon as much as I can control mine. Now, this is where the hand distance comes in. The further back on the weapon I am, the tougher it is for me to control the fight. I can't really control what he's doing because he can outmuscle me because he has more control over his weapon. So the further up you get on it, the more control you have over what your opponent is going to be able to do. Like I say, I move back a little bit more of a moderate, unless if I'm fighting just someone who's a behemoth, and that's what I have to do to move their weapon. The more that your weapons are on the same plane, the less control you have over it. So if these are just flat, it's very tough for me to catch what he's doing. If I can get a little angle on it, then I can move his weapon. I can get his weapon off of point, step in for my shot. Sorry, driving me nuts. So what you want to do is when you're both fighting with the same hand back, is pick a side, doesn't matter which side you're on, and try to push their weapon out of the way. The more you can chuck their weapon out of the way, the more shots that you'll create. Back up. It's the same with the other. So I'm just getting a little bit of angle on it, and pushing it down with my front hand. So I'm just using my front hand as my dominant hand to just get it out of the way. Magnus is giving you the extreme version, but you can chuck it out that far. And as soon as you can knock them offline, that's when you can come into line. Don't be afraid to take that step in as soon as you get comfortable with the weapon. You can chuck it, you go a little bit offline and take that step. It gives you a better chance of hitting the opponent. This weapon style is all about range. If you're not comfortable where you're standing, move. Get out. You're like, I'm way too close. If you think it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad. So get to where you're comfortable. Don't be afraid to disengage and re-engage. Move out, move in. Do whatever feels comfortable to control the fight. When you're blocking the spear shot coming in, obviously I'm not going to get right in front of the spear tip, especially fighting spear on spear. There's no way that I'm going to be able to be far enough back that I can catch his spear tip with mine. It's just unrealistic. So when someone's shooting at you, go ahead and shoot. I just want to push, I just want to change the trajectory. I don't have to change that with the tip. I change that somewhere along with the shaft. Go ahead and shoot again. Now just keep on shooting. So I'm not making big motions. I'm not like, I must get this down here. I just want to make little motions. I just want to take it. It can graze me. That's fine. But I just don't want it to hit me. So it's just a little push. A little push on either side. Right? Bam. Bam. Now switch hands. So that's the same sort of thing on when they're fighting the opposite hand back. It's just like fighting a left-hander. Whatever they can do to you, you can do to them. Now I'm not having to cross the spear to try to get at him anymore. So if I can get on the inside, on the back side of his hand with my spear, I can just drop a shot right in. I can just let it go and go for the shot without even doing anything. But as I do that, obviously he'll block and then counter shoot. Shoot, counter shoot. So it's like shoot, counter shoot, counter, push, try to shoot. Just like everything that we do, it's all a dance. It's all step, step, go, step, step, go. Let's see. Showed you the 3 primary spots that you're shooting at. Showed you how to deflect and divert the spear. We went through stances. I feel like I'm just flying through this. I've got to be missing stuff.
It does seem like it's going a lot faster. 9-foot dagger.
Yeah. Oh, 9-foot dagger. Thank you. The worst thing when you're fighting spear on spear, fight spear on spear. Don't.
Oh, Sean has a question.
Yeah, please.
Let's see here, I'm going to unmute here.
Hey there, Your Majesty. Can I have you turn Magnus to face the camera and show the 3 triangles of the targets?
Okay.
Oh, did you hear?
I can't hear anything.
1 second. I need to mute this so you don't have to listen to this. He'd like you to show the 3 triangles of the target.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have Magnus face the camera.
Oh, and have Magnus face the camera.
Yeah. All right. So we have the 3 primary spots.
Thank you, Sean.
We have right here on the nose. It's right in the face. It doesn't have to be hard. It's easy for them to dodge, but also when you hit it, you hit it. Next one is right from the shoulder, elbow, wrist. From right back to the shoulder. Gives us a nice triangle that will send the spear right into the ribs. If they try to deflect it up, it just pushes it into the ribs harder. If they try to deflect it down, they just move it into their face. They have the face, shoulder, wrist, elbow, takes you right into the ribs. Wrist, elbow, knee. Right here, sends you right into the hip. When you hit a hip shot, it will take it and turn it. So it's a great way to get a definitive blow with the spear. Like I said, with the spear tips that we use, if they're wearing plate mail on the chest or legs, anything you hit on those are just going to slide right off. So that's why you go for the hip joint off the wrist, elbow, knee triangle. or the body with the wrist, elbow, shoulder. And then just a big old triangle right on the nose. Okay. All right. 9-foot daggers. These are not 9-foot daggers. You fight them at range. Just choke up. Ah! Don't do it. Just never do it unless if it's the last ditch situation in a melee and you're the last one alive and you just have nothing else left. That's the only time that you need to do it. I'm a big fan of setting up barrier for the one-on-ones just to keep people in that range to make it a fair fight. It should be a beautiful thing that you're doing, and when you just get in there, you're just elbowing somebody in the head and just trying to stab them like this. It looks dumb. It feels dumb. Just don't do it. Please, just don't do it. I said, always keep your backhand up the back of the spear. That will give you the most control. The more of your weapon you control, the more of the fight you control. Offline, shots. Any other questions on this?
I have a question if you want to relate to His Majesty.
Sure. We have a question.
So
Okay,
being
awesome.
that he was just talking about having his hand at the very base of the spear, I know there are some fighters like Count Yuri who moves his backhand back and forth. Is there any good way to counter those shorter spear grips?
Okay. She's commenting about how some people change their backhand grip, make it a little further away from the end. So they probably have a little more power, I guess. But instead of being all the way in the back, they move it up. And what to do when you're fighting them? Is it
so when they're short, when they deliberately shorten their spear?
Yes.
Yeah, in spear fight, once again, stay back. if they give up the natural range, awesome. Let them. They'll be able to control more of the tip on you, but just stay away. Go and shorten up. Okay. Hi, shoot at me. Ha ha ha. Here, let me step closer. I'm still safe. I can easily make contact on my opponent, and I'm still in a safe spot. I'll still acknowledge their blows as they're coming in, but if he starts stepping in on me, I'm just going to step back. I'm just going to move away. Active retreats are a big thing in spear. When you end up on the melee field, you'll do a lot of active retreating if you end up out on your own away from the line. It's one of the keys is to keep them at about this range, about a nice little comfortable range. You can still easily hold the weapon with both hands, but I'm not all the way out here. If I keep them right about here, I can control the fight. I have enough space that I can move. That's easily enough. Go ahead and shoot me with that. Yeah. I have to lean to get them their shot. Like I said, when it comes down to a game of inches, go and pull all the way back again. Now just do the same shot. Bam. Okay, take it back. Do the same shot again. Nope, same shot. I'm alive. I'm dead. I'm alive. That is as simple as the lean goes. Because when I keep them right at range, when you know your opponent's range, you can use it. So yeah, if they choke up, just eat them up. Does that make sense?
Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay.
Since you just brought up active defense, I would also kind of like to see what that.
Please.
Okay, so the question is, you brought up active defense. Would you be willing to answer more about active defense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's step this way a little bit. Because I'm going to be going that way. So yeah, a lot of what I do is the passive defense, where I'm just right here, and I want those movements as small as possible, just enough that I can take their weapon offline. But if I have to start moving, I'm going to take steps, shoot, take steps, shoot, take steps, shoot, as much as I can, because as much as I can, you're not going to hit them if you don't shoot the shot. So when you're on your heels, that's when I become a much more active shooter, because then I'm just trying to catch something as they're moving. Because when they're moving is when they're going to open up the most, just like any other weapon style. So when they're backing, so when they're coming at you, not many people can keep their spear online when they're attacking, when they're trying to come after you like that. So a lot of people will get a lot of this movement, a lot of walk, oh, I'll get up here and reset. So if they're trying to close in on range at me, while they're doing that, I'm just going to hit them while they're doing it. That's the aggressive active defense. The I need to get out of here defense when somebody's coming after me is I lost my grip, something happened, I'm just no longer in control of the fight in any way, is let the spear go, push it up, and use this as a way to get away until you can get back and get reset again. Because people mentally will not think that they can walk past that tip. It's just one of those weird mental barriers. They have to really, really think about it to do it. So if you just drop that tip and turn it up into a big one-handed Madu for a couple seconds, you can still defend, you can still get out, and you can still get away until I can reset and then get back on the attack again. There are a lot of different ways to go at this. I've known people who have been really successful as machine gunners, and they just shoot all day long and shoot some more. They're not aiming, but they're shooting. They're really cluttering up the fight. They're really throwing a lot of info in there. It's like, hi, here's all of this for you to deal with, which is tough for a lot of people. It's like, I'm defending the whole time. I can't think about getting on offense. Those people, I just wait out. Let them get tired. Shoot at me all day long. I'll be here to kill you when you're tired. The longer that I'm a spearman, the more I've become more of a sniper. I tend to shoot more with purpose. When I take my shots, they have a reason. I'm not just going to just shoot something out. It's like, oh, I hope I get something. If I'm going for something, it's because I think I can get it. Do you think that explains active defense?
I believe it did, but did that answer it for everybody?
Did for me, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So obviously, everybody here has heard my classes several times. So I'm all about questions. So please keep them coming in. Anything else on spear box? Yeah. Yeah, like I say, try to keep your shots as flat as you can when you're trying to hit something. Because once again, the more flat it is, the more of that power that you're pushing will go through the opponent. The more that you're shooting at an angle, the better chance that something's going to skip off. So whenever you want to actually make contact, you want to try to keep it as flat as possible, because that will give you your best chance of landing the blow. Okay.
It's also easy. It's also a lot easier to deflect if you're already.
Yeah, if you've already, the more of an angle you're putting on it, the easier you're making your opponent's job.
Question. They'd like you to tell them about the shotgun fake.
What was that thumb, Sean?
Yes, it's from Sean.
Okay, if it's
Yeah.
from Sean, I'll expose his the favorite household shot.
Okay.
The shotgun fake is once again all about giving them misinformation, because this is a fast moving fight. It's not like with great sword where it's like, oh, a big mass woman, it's like, oh, here's the blow. It's bam, fight's over. It can happen that quick. So quick twitch reflexes are highly important in this. And I prefer to try to get my opponent on their heels just a little bit before I do it. I want them to think that I'm going to hit them or that I'm able to hit them. So if I can get control of the fight, the shotgun takes out. Sir Tierlock came up with that myself and his great Sean have blatantly stole, is just giving activity. Instead of shooting your shot, you're pulling your hand back like you're loading a shotgun. So what your opponent sees is like I'm angle it up at his head. I pull the shotgun and he pulls and it activates his defense. So he'll raise his tip for that. And all I've done is just move my hand. So by just giving a quick hand motion, man, that sounds dirty. A quick hand motion will activate their defense and get them to move without having to make contact on them, without even really doing anything. It's just, hi, he's motion. Ah, what's going on? And you can get people to freak out. Whether it's freak out or even just move it an inch. Oh, thanks. It's like all, go ahead and point at the camera. So all that Magnus did was just move from here to here. Off that last fake, off the shotgun fake. Just moved it a little bit, and that gave me enough to create my opening. Because remember, just like I said with the active defense, all I have to do is catch part of the shot before it hits me to push it away. So with your shot, you have to think about it going all the way through the opponent and the path the whole way clear for it to hit. Because if it gets muddied in there, then it won't hit solid. So yeah, so it's can ask us, Ray Sean, you'd be amazed how the hundreds and thousands of people that we've killed just with the shotgun fake, just with a quick motion.
Joel said, "That's dirty. I love it."
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it is a beautiful
that's why
thing.
I generally don't include it in my class unless it's a special request. And Sean knows what he's doing with that. So
He said it's a beautiful thing.
right. So any other questions about spear boxing?
Hey, Gio, I know Marin had a question.
Good.
Or she raised her hand. Do you have a question, Marin?
Yeah, I actually just tried to give a thumbs up because I was enjoying the display. Sorry, you guys.
Okay, it's all good.
Because a thumbs up looks like a hand raised.
Yeah.
So
Totally not.
have him
All
talk
this is
about.
Joel's fucking smack.
Let's
Well,
see,
it's Joel.
so have him talk about stepping offline, taking a step offline to get to a shot.
Duke Sean was asking to talk about taking a step offline to get the shot.
Oh yeah. A lot of people look at spear boxing kind of is fencing with bigger weapons. So a lot of people think of it in the Olympic style, where this is your line, this is where you are, and there's a lot of forward and back. But the more you can get offline, the more the openings are created. Because your openings go from he has control over your shot to if I can get him moved and just take that little step forward or back, it creates more of an opening in there. It gives me more to see. Let's face the camera. Okay. Does that look good there, Gio?
Yeah.
Are you straight on him? All right. So there's your straightforward approach. That is what you're going to be looking at most of the time. So just move with the tip here. Nope. Standpoint. Rotate this way. Now rotate your feet. Yeah. So now that's about a step offline. So here are all the new openings. Go ahead and line back up. Just with getting a step offline. Bring it a step that way. Now they'll quickly try to get back on point as quick as they can. But the primary thing is to try to get their spear moving. Movement equals opportunity. The more they're moving, the more opportunity you have to hit them.
Hey, Gio, have
Get
him
their spear
have
moving,
him
whether
have.
it's shooting at you or you're just knocking it offline, and then you can just take that half step one way or the other on either side, depending on your opponent. Just take that little half step, and it will give you 50% more radius, more area to hit.
Hey, Gio, have Magnus turn his back to the camera,
Can Magnus turn his back to the camera?
Yep.
and then have Damon demonstrate what that looks like from the other side.
Demonstrate what it looks like from the other side.
Okay.
So Damon faces Magnus.
Okay. So I should be right behind Magnus now.
Right.
So right from here, I want to try to get his spear offline with just with keeping my front foot solid. All I've done is take my back foot from starting stance to one step over, and now I have nothing but chest to work with, chest and face, and honestly, groin if you're that sort of guy or girl. I find that stepping towards the backhand will keep you in the most control. If you're stepping towards your front hand, that turns your hips, that exposes you as more of a target, and you're also fighting through your body to try to catch your shot. So yeah, so I like to try to open up on my backhand side, try to get a little bit of motion, take that step, and then from there, all I'm doing is walking. I know you can walk. I know people think it's complicated, but it's walking. So that's 2 steps. I take them offline. I take 1 step. He recovers. I take another step, and now I just closed range on him without him really doing anything. And most likely, he's going to be concerned about trying to get his spear tip back online first before he's concerned about how close I am. So once I get right here, I'm like, hi, here's my tip. Oh, look, yours is down here. Mine is in your face. And from there, it's just a quick motion to the kill.
That was great.
Okay.
How about changing your foot placement?
Which way?
When you go from right to left foot to get the extra distance? No, just to,
Oh, yeah. Just right here.
Yeah.
So now this is not something that you generally do in one-on-one. This is more of a melee inline cheater thing, because just changing which foot you have forward. Now, what that does is when you change your foot placement, is it pulls your hip and your shoulder forward. Everything comes from the hips and the shoulders. So as I turn it out, this will give me extra 2 feet of range just by changing which feet I have. And that's something that you can do in line. It works really well in melee, because then you can change it up and no one's super concentrated on you. But in one-on-one spear boxing, as soon as you do that, they're like, hi, you just gained 2 feet of range. I'm going to hit you in the chest now. One of the things I wanted to mention off the beginning is, like I said, you have the superhero pose. Those guys I love to fight because they give you the clearly defined triangles just to jack them up. So I know this is going to be funny. I want to get skinny. So I want to turn sideways, which makes me a little bit skinnier. So I want to turn sideways and try to cut out all of those lines. So instead of having a nice solid place for you to hit me in the ribs in that top triangle, if I push my hand out, it will push that triangle out. So it turns it from a big triangle into a smaller triangle. And if I put a little bit of flex in my knee and get a little bit lower, that also minimizes the triangle coming lower, coming into my hip. As I have the bend in my knee, if they come in for that hip shot, I can push the butt out and try to have it catch forward, or hula it, and just try to have it just skip right off the hip on one side or the other. I'm sure on video this looks hilarious, but it's just a lot of hip pushing in. I can't even say it. Just a lot of, you just want to push that hip just off. So your head is always a target. You can't hide your head. Can't hide your face with a spear. This doesn't work. So that's why you want to keep your head active. Don't be afraid to bob. Don't be afraid to bob and weave and move around. Yeah, like I say, it's a game of inches. It's about just closing in to where you have that, where you can take advantage of it, and being able to push out when you can't. So yeah, the skinnier you can make yourself, the less target there is to hit. Let me grab a drink.
It's 12:44.
Oh my God, it's
Yeah.
12:44?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Let me grab a quick drink of water and we'll get into the melee.
Okay.
Man, I thought you were going to say it's been 15 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, how's it only been 15 minutes? All right. Let's grab the mass weapons. Stamps both of you on that side. Okay, now we're going into what you want to do in the melees. The first thing I wanted to cover is what to do against mass weapon, Florentine, Mardus, anything that's not a spear and not a shield.
Yeah.
What I generally like to call this, let's go ahead and get your stands, is this is dinner. Because all I'm doing is eating. They can't hit me, and I want to hit them. I want to hit one of them and get out. They keep coming after me, and then work on hitting the next. And this goes back to that active defense. This is where I'm going to be an active shooter. And I have multiple people coming at me. I want to try to pop one of them so I can concentrate on the other. As soon as they get into range, kill one. As soon as you see the kill is acknowledged on the back, get ready for the next. So now it's just walking, keeping my hips level, my shoulders level. Because if I try to take big steps and turn my hips, as soon as I turn my hips, I just pulled my spear offline, and now I can't kill. You always have to be in a position to kill. So as I'm going back, I'm just sliding my feet right by each other. Just nice little steps. Until they're either dead and I can move on, or I get overrun, I drop the spear tip, and I turn and I leave. And I run and find friends. Because as soon as they get past your range, that's when you need friends. The spear can be one of the most powerful things on a melee field when it's in the right spot. When it's getting overrun, it can be one of the scariest places because you're like, I have no place to go and no way to hit people. Let's grab some swords and shields. Sword and boards. Okay, I'm going to take you guys on the direct view. Yeah, I'm going to try to give you guys a view of what I want to look at without totally blocking the camera with my back.
We can see them fine.
Okay, so this is what you'll see in the shield wall. This is the straight up view. When I come in to shoot at this, my only real shots head on is not really anything. When you're fighting a melee, I'm not killing the person in front of me. That's the safest person in the world from me right now. I'm killing his friend, his friend's friend, and his friend's friend. I want 3 people on each side. That's who I want to be shooting at. So instead of being lined up here trying to kill these guys, I want to be further down in the line and work on shooting in. Let's turn you both this way. Whoop, all the way. Right there. Now, as it turns, I'm trying to give you guys the first person point of view here. So that is looking on the edge of the line. So now, instead of them being able to block everything that I'm shooting, I got just offline. Now I can catch right up into the jaw line on the first shieldman, catch into the jaw line, or try to catch right in that top triangle or bottom triangle on the second shieldman. The more offline that I can get, the more everything just opens up. Now face the deck. So now if you're fighting, and you come up, you're like, oh, here's the end of a line. Hello, friend. Hi, fam. You're dead. Hi, friend. Hi, how you doing? Make sure that you get acknowledgement. Make sure that they see you. You don't, like I said, you can really mess somebody up with this. So you don't want to come careening into the end of a line. Go ahead and line up. Just be like, hi, bam, bam. I just took you guys' heads off without even knowing it. They are in line. If you come up on the end of a line, you want to give them a chance to know that you're there to defend themselves, whether it's a second or not. If you're on the end of the line, you want to let them know. So now, if we have a whole row of shieldmen here, then that courtesy is no longer extended because you are engaged with everybody in that line, which is why when I'm down here, lined up across from these guys, I want to open up and shoot at these guys. I will either get the kill or I will get them to turn their shields, block with the shield. And now my friend can get the kill. Teamwork, work in teams, talk, communicate. I always like to lead from the front. I always like to talk to my shieldmen, talk to my spearmen, try to tell them where they need to be and where they need to go. Was there a question?
Have them face so you can see how much that opens.
Okay.
No, face the camera.
Face forward.
Just like you're on the line against them.
Yep. So if I'm in there and I catch that top corner, that opens up the body for my spearman friend, 3 or 4 down, cross shoot back into it. I don't have a hook on this one. A lot of spearmen fight with little hooks. With a little hook, you can get in there and actually just get that shield with a little pole. When I fight with the hook, I'm not necessarily trying to pull that shield so I can get the kill. I'm trying to pull that shield so somebody else sees it and gets the kill. In combat, yeah, you want to mess with people. Try to get them to open up. Get their shields. Get that top corner to open up the belly and groin. Line back up. One of the dirty tricks is you hit that bottom corner to try to open up the friend and come over the top for the head. Now I can either hit it, I can just try to press on it. If I'm not in danger, then I can put a press on a shield and just go, hi, you should open that up so they can hit you. There's no harm in that. Like, hi, I can't kill anybody right now, but I can put you in a worse position so that my friend can kill somebody. Line combat, go ahead and give me a stagger, forward back. If they are not lined up, if they are not in a straight line, then that's time to feast. Because instead of having no place for me to sneak through here, now I can take a step out and just shoot right past his shield. Shieldmen need to stay together. That's what makes them strong. A shieldman on a melee is in a susceptible position until they get close enough to hit you. If they're not close enough to hit you, guess what? They can't hit you.
Have them turn to a 45-degree angle so they see how much of an opening there is there.
Yeah, face the house, the toy house. Yeah. All of this. Go ahead and take a half step forward. Yeah. Still. Nothing but room. Take another half step. See, now that's closed up a lot, but even just being 6 inches off there, I still want to shoot for that gap and catch the person right in the body. All right. Okay, face the camera. Separate. Right. Right. Now, this is working with shielding. This is one of the most important things that you'll do. Go ahead and close up a bit. So now, this, I have nowhere to go. I have no angles I can hit. All I can do is sit back here and hope somebody gets close enough for me to go with. In melee, we're all wearing helmets. I tend to get a little bit more pushy. I will come up here, hey, give me space, push off. Right. And I want just enough space, bring it back, just enough space that I can push off here. The places I want to shoot with my left hand back is about 1 or 2 people to my right, the person in front of me, or about 3 or 4 people to my spear side, to the side that you're on. I want to curl up behind this shieldman and have him block everything coming from over there, because then I can concentrate on killing in this radius. That's why it's nice to have people who fight with different hands back. So if I come up, put a shieldman here, and I'm working on this radius, and he has another spearman come up, and on the other side of him, he's working on this radius. All it makes is just your own little version of a killing pocket, because then you can work. Be vocal. Being with the spear, if these guys can't hit anybody, if they're not close enough, all they're doing is trying to stay alive and keep you alive. So you need to tell them where they need to be and how they can help you. And if they don't listen, or they're leaving you out to hang, like if somebody starts shooting at Magnus here, he starts backing up, I just lost all of my protection. Whereas if a shieldman behind me leaves, I need to move. I need to readjust and get set up again, because that just exposed my whole blind side. I said, shoulders are turned, trying to stay skinny. You can only catch so far what's behind you.
Hey,
Instead
Gio.
of everybody else who's facing the line, I'm facing the angle.
Go ahead, Sean.
Remember that one time at Estrella?
Okay.
Remember that one time at Australia? I was thinking about that. Where Sean was the guy in the middle?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was glorious.
As he put it, the safest place in the known world, right between me and Tierlock running spear.
Yes.
Sean could not get to people to kill fast enough. Every time Sean would take a step and swing it at somebody, one of us would just shoot him. So Sean just ended up just walking. Hey, never mind. Hey, no, okay. All the way until we killed everybody to the back wall. And there's one guy 4 rows back talking smack to Sean the whole time. Me and Tierlock went, nope, kill all of his friends, leave him for Sean. And just open up.
And then I murdered him.
Then Sean murdered him.
Oh yeah. That's why I prefer to run in a pack like that. The minimum to be safe like that is a 3-man group, a shieldman and a spearman on each side with the different hand back. 5-man work, you just push it out to another spearman and shieldman, and you all just work together. You have a center and 2 sides.
We're at the final 3 minutes.
Yeah, final 3 minutes. All right. It's fun. It's real fun. But like I said, we need spearmen, we need shieldmen, we need people to work together. The spearmen get the glory, the spearmen get a lot of the kills, but without the shieldmen and without the runners and gunners, none of it would happen. So I appreciate your shieldmen. And if they're not listening to you, get out, move, go somewhere else. I'm a very active spearman. I like to move different spots and pick my target. Thank you, Thorhall. Thank you, Magnus. Thank you, Giovanni. I hope this class was helpful. I hope I gave some of you guys some 101 spear work, an idea of what you want to start to look for. If you ever have any questions, let me know. I'm here to teach, here to help, and I love doing it. Any questions in the last minute? I think we're just about to wrap this up.
Yep, we're getting great class. Thanks for having it. All sorts of those.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and watch this.
All right. Goodbye, folks.